Good evening, happy Father's Day, and welcome to the 71st annual banquet for the Magdalene Hebrew Academy, Feinstone Yeshiva of the South, streaming live from the beautiful CYHSB Beit Medrash. This is our first, and I sincerely hope our last virtual banquet. Tonight, we pay tribute to an incredible group of individuals who have been instrumental in our ability to keep our children safely educated, both in person and virtually. What we've been able to accomplish this year has been nothing short of an amazing but true miracle. And therefore, we also collectively express our gratitude and appreciation to our Kadosh Baruch Hu, to God, for allowing us to open and remain open this year for in-person instruction. Faced with a global pandemic, the likes of which we could never have imagined, we as a school have endured. We've endured and thrived by providing our students with a safe in-person education while continuing to deliver on our mission. That is to provide a rigorous academic curriculum in both general and Judaic studies. From the earliest stages of the pandemic through the summer months, as we started to plan for the new school year, Rabbi Owen and his team has been instrumental in helping us keep our doors open, initially virtually, and then both virtually and in person. Our honorees this evening, Dr. Dina and Noam Davidovitz, and the recipient of our Community Service Award, Dr. Sandy Arnold, have given enormous amounts of their time, energy, and expertise to help guide us through the challenges we've faced and set us up for success. In addition to helping guide on policy, while Rabbi Owen worked with the broad community, Dr. Arnold and Dr. Dina have also been on call to provide input on emerging situations, medical questions, and quarantine discussions. All this after dealing with their own patients. They then gave much time focusing on the details of the MHA's medical strategy and the specific nuances of individual situations. Thinking about Noam, I would imagine that an exciting day in the world of our Chief Technology Officer, Noam Davidovitz, was managing the internet bandwidth within the school. Who could ever have anticipated that through the dogged pursuit of grants, we would have the opportunity to overhaul our school's technology and provide our students with a virtual option, and it would have all been done in-house by Noam in his confident yet unassuming manner. Each, Dr. Dina, Dr. Arnold, and Noam handled everything we threw at them with grace and professionalism, while also remaining calm under pressure, even during the most difficult of times, and there were some. To our entire faculty and staff, your day-to-day lives were significantly altered due to this pandemic. However, you continue to educate and inspire our children with the nurturing care and warmth that is the hallmark of an MHA education. Each of you have contributed to our success this year, and we acknowledge you and say thank you for the sacrifices that you have endured. Thank you to Tracy Mendelson and Elise Kropp for chairing this evening, to Mrs. Hauser, Shana Summer, Shana Schubert for coordinating the journal, and to Sarah Davis, who coordinated the beautiful charcuterie boards. And I think that's the only time I've been able to say it properly to date. Thank you to those on staff who've helped support our volunteers, which have included Brandy and Erica, as well as Jessica, who's coordinating our virtual event this evening. Each of you, along with your committees, have worked so hard to adapt due to the new virtual environment, while still maintaining the positive energy and feel-good nature of the MHA. Thank you. I also have to take this opportunity to thank all those who have helped ensure our ad journal was such a financial success, and that has been led as ever by David Cooper and Pace Cooper, and supported by many others. To our families and the broader MHA community, thank you for all you've done to help us stay open. Thank you for following the protocols and realizing that each individual's decision impacts the broader school community as a whole. That mindset is indicative of the importance of the MHA FYOS to our broad community. And now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our recent graduates, Moshe Davidovitz, to provide us with a Dvar Torah. Moshe, over to you.
In this week's Parsha, Parshas Balak, Balak, the king of Moab, sends for Bilam, a Navi, to go and curse the Jewish people, because he was worried that the Jews would come and take over his land. Now Bilam, who was a Navi, was known as Bilam Harasha, Bilam the evil one. So how could Bilam, who we know is a Navi and Nevi'im, who are close to Hashem and are good people generally, how could he be a Rasha, an evil person, who would not follow in the ways of Hashem? That seems contradictory. So what makes Bilam any different from someone, let's say, Avram Avinu? That they were both Nevi'im, but one we know as a Rasha, and one we know as the father of the Jewish nation. So Pirkei Avos in Parak Hey says that the difference between the two is that Bilam gave his students evil teachings, and that his students ended up being very evil. So he acted like a Navi, but his students was the difference. But Avram Avinu, his students became tzaddikim, and he imparted on them Torah values and mitzvos and good midos. So the difference between Bilam Harasha and Avram Avinu was that while they were both Nevi'im, the impact on the world around them. So they acted the same, but the impact was the difference. I have been privileged here at the MHA and the CYHSB to have incredible teachers and incredible rebbeim who have imparted on me great values and have shown that they follow in the footsteps of Avram Avinu, giving me Torah and mitzvos and good midos instead of the possible bad traits that Bilam would have taught. My parents also have shown great example and have always led and shown me how to act, imparting on me good values. I am so thankful to have the opportunity to be able to have gotten all this experience from the rebbeim and from the teachers, and I've had the privilege to always get good Torah values and good mitzvahs from our school, and I'm very thankful for that.
Welcome to the Margolin Hebrew Academy Feinstone Yeshiva of the South annual banquet dinner for 2021. This year, in some ways, has been the most challenging year in the school's history. And at the same time, it has been one of the most rewarding years in my career, and I believe in the history of the school. The students were resilient. The faculty members overcame challenges that they've never overcome in their professional career. The parents were incredibly supportive. The board and the board members were so supportive of the school and so in the corner of the school.
As a school, we're tremendously appreciative of our teachers, our administrators, our staff that keeps our school going.
This is my first full year as school counselor. I started midway through the beginning of last year. I feel like just my presence has been helpful and that students feel like they have someone that they can talk to if they need to, that has the knowledge and ability to help build skills as they need it.
I feel so lucky to be part of this incredibly talented team of people who are really passionate about what they're doing, and they're really committed to working collaboratively to help fulfill the school's mission.
We're incredibly supported by the administrators. They're always available. You know, there seems to be really like an open door policy. I mean, you can go to them with just anything that you need. If we need books, if we need materials, if we need student support, whatever, we have it available. So it's a positive experience to be able to know that you can go and you can have that relationship with your administrators and you can trust and you can kind of have open communication.
They stepped up, they championed, and they made that happen for our kids.
Our whole team of early childhood teachers have been there for each other, filling in when someone's out, just giving each other strength. Rabbi Owen has done an unbelievable job of leading us, and all of the parents have been so supportive as well.
It's really such a community here, and so you know, a lot of the students do stay through their whole educational experience.
I think that most of the staff go above and beyond and do more than they need to do. All of my boys have had an experience over the course of this year where I've seen just how much their teachers care and love for them.
Everybody's very tight-knit, you know, people seem to get along.
I mean, it's a small school, so we all know each other. We see each other outside of school, as well as, you know, having close relationships with the teachers and the other parents. There's always ways to get involved.
I'm very appreciative to Rabbi Owen and to all of the teachers for making this year a success. I think that the hard work and the effort that they put in to ensure that our kids could be in school was noticed.
One of the things that I love here is the community. Everybody has such a great sense of community, and everybody works well together, and everybody's here for the kids. And we get to go at the pace that our students need. So it's very individualized, which is amazing from a teaching perspective.
Everybody is there for each other and supporting each other, whether it be a child to another child or a teacher to a child or a teacher to a teacher. We are a family here, and that really helps a lot.
It's such a blessing for me to be working at this school and getting to see the magic that happens in the classroom every day. So just, seeing the teachers working with the students in small groups or one-on-one and truly making the subject matter come alive for them. It's really been special to see.
I've seen it impact my kids only in the best way possible. We moved from a big city with big schools and moving to a community that's smaller and has a small community feel even inside the school. It has made them feel like they can be involved more and just feel very comfortable being at school.
Being part of this school in particular really protected them from a lot of the potential curveballs that might come from being in larger schools. In fact, my daughter went away for a semester to a larger school in New York and was miserable there. She was so used to the smaller environment, the smaller classes, the more personalized attention.
We were walking around the neighborhood the other day and he wanted to run into his teacher's house to say hi. I mean, he's wanting to knock on their doors and say hi to them. He loves his teachers. He's always coming home and telling us stories and letting us know how his day was, and it's always a positive message.
A few months ago, it was his teacher's birthday, and he came home and he's like, we need to go get her cake and a card for her birthday. And so we ran around after school to go get her a cake and balloons, and we dropped it off at her house. He has a great relationship. We never have to worry about anything. And we know that if we ever have questions or concerns, we can just call anyone. Everyone's just a phone call away, and they're happy to answer and be there for the parents.
Well, I think that just in general with the kids here, just teaching, not just with the Judaic principles, but also with the general studies side and just with the social emotional growth, just molding them into people that we want to send out into the world to make it a better place. So we're laying the foundation.
Having a Jewish soul is one of the most amazing gifts that we can give to our children. What I love about the school is the focus on building the moral character of the next generation of Jews, and it's beautiful.
They've been able to experience a variety of religious instruction throughout their years here, especially the older kids.
So I'm a Rebbe teacher for the middle school boys. Teach them Torah every day when I come in, and I also work with them with extracurricular activities, create an environment for the students, not just inside of school, but also outside of school.
The children know that we were given the Torah, and that is our blueprint for living every day and doing the mitzvos, and they live it. It's part of their lives all day, whether you're learning about math, science, history, all of that is intertwined throughout our day, and it is our guidebook. And so they love it. It's exciting to them, and they're thirsty to learn more.
Well, since I'm not a Jewish teacher, then it's a little bit different. But I definitely see students, I've seen students come here and their desire has been to be more religious, and I've seen them grow in that particular way, where they're taking their prayer seriously and they apply different types of kind of ideas and things to how you approach different things. And so that's something that can be applied as well.
It's not just what we teach them, it's not just the subject, it's about their heritage, about their connection to the Jewish people, the land of Israel, and that changes and builds their perspective, their relationship with Jews wherever they may meet. They build that and feel that connection with them. A lot of what we're teaching is, in terms of the bigger picture, is really their perception of the world, their perception of other people, how they interact with other people, how they interact with their peers, and just having a healthy attitude and perspective of the world and of each other. And they can take that with them for the rest of their life.
The school wouldn't be here without the support that we get from the broad community. And that's not just financial support, that's the wisdom that's provided to us to help guide us, the work that people put in, the numerous volunteer hours that our volunteers put in to ensure that the school can continue to run. And it takes a village to keep things running. I personally believe that without the school, we wouldn't have the vibrant Memphis Jewish community that we do.
MHA FYOS has a series of partnerships throughout the community that are critical to us being able to deliver on our mission. We have partnerships with professionals. We have partnerships with those who support us financially, those who support us with their time, volunteerism, those who support us with giving us guidance and giving us support in that way. And we require these partnerships to help us to impart to our students lessons and the ability to become the best students they can become.
It's just really amazing to look around this community and see how many leaders we have in the Memphis Jewish community who are truly products of our school.
It's amazing to see at such a grassroots level the role that the school has played in recruiting new families. What's great for a Jewish family living in our community is that we have opportunities for them from pre-K all the way through high school and way beyond that. And there are many families that are choosing Memphis because of the Margolin Hebrew Academy.
I think that the school being here has a big impact on the community. I feel like the community in Memphis has grown, and we have been able to attract people from all different areas of the country because of the school that we have here.
So school has really, really been helpful in connecting us with the community here. This is how we've met almost everyone.
And Jewish community partners through its managed entities, the Memphis Jewish Federation and the Jewish Foundation, has been so proud that we've been able to be a partner with the school in not only educating the next generation of our Jewish community, but also building community leaders and working towards sustainability, which, as I mentioned before, this school plays a critical part in ensuring we have a sustainable Jewish community.
You know, when COVID started, we as a school, as a industry in general, as a world, didn't really know where we were going. We had no idea would we be able to have school in person ever again. The ultimate priority of the school was the health and safety of our children while providing them an education.
It was a year of tremendous challenge and a year just of great reward. There were a lot of rules at the school this year. We had all kinds of protocols, we had all kinds of restrictions, we had all kinds of impediments to the learning. When there's a challenge, when there's something that we're faced with as a community and as a group, we overcome it together. Through that experience, we grew as a school.
One thing that's amazing is to see how our school, our community has flourished throughout this difficult time.
I am blown away. I mean, I cannot say that emphatically enough. I am blown away at the resilience that I've seen from our students. I am blown away at the amazing supports that all the adults have given our students.
To really make sure that the kids were getting what they needed and that everyone was safe and healthy.
We no longer take this for granted, and we appreciate every moment, every minute that we have in this wonderful school.
Kudos to the administrators and to Dr. Arnold and to the teachers for working so hard and making sure that our kids had a good, positive year.
Our community really comes together when we need each other. And over the past 12 to 14 months, we really saw that. And Sandy Arnold is a great example of really an unbelievable professional in our community who stepped up, and it's no surprise, but really stepped up and stepped out when she was needed.
Dr. Arnold is an infectious disease specialist at Le Bonheur and sits on Le Bonheur's task force for COVID. She was able to guide the school in a way that supported our students, supported our staff, and allowed us to really protect the health and safety of our students. I do not think this year would have been possible without the work of Dr. Sandy Arnold and having her in the school's corner.
We really relied on Dr. Arnold quite a bit throughout the year because obviously this situation was very new to us. She was always just a phone call away, always willing to answer any questions we had, and she truly helped us have a successful and safe school year.
We are so thankful to Dr. Arnold.
I felt very secure sending our kids to school during the pandemic. I knew they were getting the best medical guidance.
So thank you, Dr. Arnold. We really appreciate it.
Really, just as someone who works at the school and as a parent, I'm so grateful for everything she's done for us.
Dr. Arnold, in honor of the work that you have done on behalf of Margolin Hebrew Academy Feinstein Yeshiva of the South, particularly in this year of COVID 2020 and 2021, our school is honored to present you with the 2021 Community Service Award.
I would just like to say that I think that even though I gave advice, it was actually the families at the school that really made all the difference, because everybody here obviously recognized the importance of their kids being in school. I think that everybody here really came together to implement all these changes and to make things work. All I did was give some advice, but it was my pleasure to do that, and I really appreciate being honored for it. It's wonderful. It makes me feel really good. I mean, why not? How can I not feel good when people tell me that I help their kids? I mean, that's what I do for a living, right? I want to help kids. To be fair, I did donate my time to the Hebrew Academy, but I would spend a lot of time this year thinking about schools. I don't want to over or underestimate how much time I spent on this, but we had a school task force at Le Bonheur. So while I was very happy to help out, it was actually really good because I was getting real-time questions from the Hebrew Academy that also helped me give advice on behalf of Le Bonheur to all the other schools in the area. My hope is that we really are seeing the backside of this. There's before COVID and there's during COVID and there will be after COVID, but after COVID isn't going to be the same as before COVID. So I think we're all learning together what things are going to be like, but I'm hoping that they're much closer to before COVID than they have been for this past year.
In a similar vein to how we are honoring Dr. Arnold for her work this year in making sure that our school could open safely, it is appropriate for us to honor Dr. Dina and Noam Davidowitz for their work specifically this year, but for many, many years. Dr. Dina and Noam Davidowitz are gems of our community. They understand in a way that's special the mission of our school and how important the unique mission of our school is to our community and to all of the Jewish people, to Klal Yisrael. Dina and Noam embody so many different ways in which they support the school.
Dina has been just an incredible parent volunteer for our school. We always know that we can reach out to Dina, whether it's to be on a committee or help out with anything going on at the school, and she just does an incredible job. She's such a hard worker. And we really appreciate everything she does for our school.
Dr. Dina Davidowitz is a medical professional at St. Jude's who works in some of the most difficult conditions, working with families whose children have cancer. She has made an impact on the school. Dr. Dina takes my phone call anytime. She brings to the conversation her role as a doctor, her role as someone who sees data at St. Jude's, and her role in the community as someone who's a parent and someone who's an active community member. She brings all of that together to guide the school in setting the best possible protocol, the best possible course for us. The students do not know how lucky they are to have Dr. Dina Davidowitz in their corner.
I don't know what we would do without Noam, especially this year. He was our IT superhero. Noam's always there with the creative solution to help things run smoothly technologically around the school.
Noam solves problems. He is a quiet, under-the-radar worker who makes things happen and does not rest until the problem is solved.
Mr. Davidowitz has helped me tremendously over the years here. He's given me a lot of ideas in technology and how to implement that into the classroom.
It needs to be said that Noam has a full-time job other than his work at the school. He does this job on campus, and he sits in his office, or some of us may call it a hole really, and he does his primary job, and at the same time he is totally available for any kind of call to solve a technological problem.
Dina and Noam are truly deserving this award. They're all the time volunteering, stepping up to the plate, making sure everything's running smoothly. Their dedication is inspiring. They just do it. They step up, and anything that needs to be done that they can help with, they are there for it. And they're truly wonderful role models for all of us.
Together, Noam and Dina are just such a power volunteer couple, and they do so much to make MHA a better place.
On behalf of Margolin Hebrew Academy Feinstein Yeshiva of the South, it is my honor to present tonight's Guest of Honor Award to Dr. Dina and Noam Davidowitz. Your family represents the best of Margolin Hebrew Academy Feinstein Yeshiva of the South. Thank you for all your work and dedication on our behalf.
It's a tremendous honor. We are very surprised and very grateful. It has definitely been a crazy year, over a year and a half. And, you know, we've all been involved in this in many ways. We are incredibly grateful for the honor.
We are so appreciative of being recognized in this way, and we are really just so grateful that we've had the opportunity to be a part of this school, to have our children educated in this school, and to be a part of the process of trying to ensure the school's stability, the school's safety. What we've given is just a small token in relation to what we have gained from having our children nurtured and educated in this school.
I guess when we first moved here, I helped out the school starting with a lot of their technology components. It was something the school really was focusing on, and something that I was very passionate about where we used to live in Baltimore. And I tried to bring a lot of those ideas over to here and really try to make things run a bit smoother from a technology point of view.
We came because my job brought us here. I came for St. Jude. And we had actually been very involved in the schools in Baltimore where we had previously lived. And we wanted a school that had a lot of academic rigor, had a love for Torah and for Judaic studies, and a warm environment. And we walked into the school and we just knew that this was a place that we could really see ourselves and we could see our children thriving. We knew as soon as we visited the school that this was a place that we could live because the school was here. And as soon as we moved in and started, it was immediately like we were part of the family and part of the community, and knew we wanted to get involved right away. And so before we even arrived, Noam had reached out to the head of school at the time and said, I've been really involved in educational technology in the school that we're involved with here, and what if we donated iPads and started, going over what some of those capabilities are and some of that technology and how it could be applied in the classroom. And so we really got involved before we even hit the ground.
To be able to make sure there's as few hiccups as possible is something that I like to be part of, and something that I try to make sure flows well, and make sure that technology is not an added burden to a classroom, but is hopefully something that flows smoothly, enables, and makes the class better overall, makes the teaching better, and improves the overall educational outcome. And then when it went virtual, obviously there were a lot of challenges, but the way that the teachers stepped up and performed incredibly throughout all grades, really trying to deliver the best possible education to the kids in some of the most trying circumstances we have ever been part of was absolutely amazing.
So, COVID brought a lot of challenges to our school, to our community, to our country, to the world. And as a physician, I am not an expert in infectious disease or epidemiology or infection control, but I felt like it was my duty, my responsibility to try and keep us as safe as possible as a family, as a community, and as a school. And so I tried to read up as much as I possibly could, to take in all the data that I possibly could, and to read every recommendation or policy guideline that was out there. And sort of started by saying, I am no expert, and I definitely am not the right person to be turning to for policy, but I'm happy to sort of share the data that I know and be a sounding board or look up information if that would be helpful. It's something where I am happy that I was able to at least share what I did know. And, unfortunately, in a brand new virus like this, in a pandemic, a lot of times there's a lot we don't know, and more we don't know than we do. But I was able to, in some ways, help share what I did know and try to do some of that homework, some of that legwork, to be able to share information that might try to keep us as safe as possible.
I'd obviously like to thank the administration, but I'd also especially like to thank all the new teachers that really came on board the new administration.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts to everyone who kept things going for our children, to the administration, to the teachers, and all of the parents who went along with all of the policies and changes, to all of the children. I really cannot thank you enough for all that you have done to be able to get us through this.
To MHA, to the community that they've built here, we're super grateful, and we can't wait to continue working with y'all.
I just want to say thank you to all the parents.
I want to say thank you to the teachers and administrators and the whole student body.
I want to thank the whole administration, Rabbi Owen, Dr. Wise.
I wanted to thank the parents for entrusting me with your children, all my colleagues in the school for all their tremendous efforts.
I want to say thank you to everyone. This has been a challenging but yet most rewarding year.
There should be a tremendous appreciation for the teachers in particular. I also think that the rebellion of the school went well above and beyond.
I'd like to thank everyone involved with the school. We've always been able to count on the Margolin Hebrew Academy to do their part to help lift our entire community.
Thank you to the teachers and to the administration who really helped our boys acclimate and showed them so much love and care.
Thank you to every teacher in this school for all the hard work that you've put in this year. Thank you to the office staff. Without you, our days would be chaotic.
Thank you to the teachers here at the Academy for keeping our kids safe and for providing a great education, whether they were on Zoom or in person. Thank you.
And to the entire Margolin Hebrew Academy staff, we are a family and we have been there for each other, and that is what has gotten us through each and every day here together.
Thank you to the entire faculty, to our amazing teachers, and our dedicated administrators for everything, all of your hard work. Thank you to our incredible parents for everything you do, all of our amazing volunteers for all of your hard work, to our wonderful students who all of this hard work is for.
Thank you to everyone who champions and promotes our school. Your efforts are changing the lives of our students every day. Thank you.
Thank you to our administrators, to our teachers, to our families, to our students, to our entire community. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you have done to make this year, 2020-2021, such an incredible year for our students and for our school.
Well, that was fantastic. Thank you, Jessica, again for coordinating, and to Rabbi Harris for coming in and making sure that this went smoothly. Rather than running the risk of repeating all the thank yous we just heard, as we turn to the next segment of the evening, I'll turn to something else. We often talk about nurturing, care, and warmth. And in reality, leadership comes from the top. And from the earliest stages of this pandemic, Rabbi Owen has been steadfast in his commitment to maintaining in-person education while still preserving the core values of the MHA education, academic excellence in a caring, nurturing environment. And as I introduce Rabbi Owen to take us through this next segment, I want to thank him for being the steady rock during what has been at the same time perhaps the most challenging and most rewarding year of his educational career. And so I turn it over to Rabbi Owen to take us through the next segment of tonight.
Thank you, Yoel. This has been one of the most rewarding school years of my career. Rewarding primarily because of the challenge that we were faced with and that we worked through together. So many people came together to help ensure that the members of our school were as safe as possible and that we educated our students to the highest degree possible. I want to recognize and thank our fearless administrators, teachers, and faculty for their leadership and courage. I want to recognize and thank our parents for your trust and support in sending your children to school during this pandemic. I want to thank our supporters and donors for your support during this critical time. Your generosity allows us to continue to advance our mission. Finally, I want to thank our board of directors as a group for your support and work during this trying time. I want to specifically thank our president, Mr. Yoel Goldblatt. Yoel has been an incredible partner through many challenges this year, and I feel privileged to have the opportunity to work with Yoel closely. Thank you. This evening, we are honoring 3 people for their contributions to the school and to our students. Noam and Dr. Dina Davidowitz are our guests of honor. Noam and Dina deeply understand the mission of our school and the critical importance of our school to the future of the Memphis Jewish community. They are parents. Dina is a board member and co-treasurer. Noam is the school's talented IT director. This duo is a powerhouse. Noam's talents range from brisket to broadband and wings to Wi-Fi. As I said, Noam serves as the school's IT director. In this capacity, Noam ensures that our teachers and students have access to working and effective technology. Noam is also thrifty and seeks to protect the school's money through grants, online shopping, and the best sales. When Noam says that it's time to buy this or that, I know that we need it and that we are getting the best possible deal. Our teachers trust Noam. Noam helped us make the transition from in-person learning to online to in-person and Zoom as seamless as possible. Within a week, Noam had researched the best online platform and trained everyone to use Zoom effectively. This effort took effort, knowledge, intuition, and Noam shepherded us through. Thank you, Noam, for your contribution to the MHA FYOS community. Dr. Dina has many, many talents. She is a wonderful mother. Professionally, she is a doctor. She reads voraciously and is a diligent researcher. She is a creative thinker. Dina is persuasive. For many years, Dina has served as the chair of our annual sweepstakes, selling many tickets and encouraging others to sell many tickets. Dina is an important voice on our executive committee and at board meetings. She is a school ambassador through and through. Dina listens well and advises well. Dina walked with the school side by side through the pandemic as we tried to sift through the different opinions and information being published. As Dina learned, we learned. Dina was a great sounding board as well. Thank you, Dina, for your contribution to the MHA FYOS community. In introducing Dr. Sandy Arnold, I would like to make reference to this week's parasha, Balak. Parashat Balak presents the difficult to understand story of Bilam and the mission that he took on to curse the Jewish people on behalf of Balak, the king of Moab. Balak attempted to convince Bilam to act as his advisor and agent. The verse says that Balak's messenger said, "Thus said Balak ben Zippor, do not refrain from going with us, because I will surely honor you, and I will do everything that you tell me to do. Go now and curse this nation on my behalf." Rabbi Yitzchak Abravanel picks up on the two arguments that King Balak makes to convince Bilam to take on this job. One, that he will surely honor him and pay him handsomely, and two, that he will do whatever Bilam advises. Rabbi Abravanel explains that doctors generally will only refrain from working with a patient for one of two reasons, either because the patient refuses to pay or because the patient refuses to listen to the doctor's advice. Dr. Arnold, we were not paying you anything. So you must have realized how much we needed your advice and how closely we were paying attention to what you were telling us. Dr. Arnold is Division Chief of Pediatric Infectious Diseases, Medical Co-Director of Antimicrobial Stewardship, and Associate Residency Program Director, Pediatric Residency of Le Bonheur Children's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. In a normal year, she wears a lot of hats. In this year of COVID, she worked double time because she also chaired Le Bonheur's COVID task force, advising the city and many other local organizations in and around Memphis. Besides the data and advice that she shared, Dr. Arnold was so gracious with us with her time, often responding to my inquiries overnight or within 24 hours. Dr. Arnold brought me from near zero in understanding and put me and our administrators in a position to develop protocols to support the health of our school community while delivering education in the best possible way. Dr. Arnold, the school community is grateful to you for your service during this difficult year, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with you for many years to come. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this amazing honor. This past year was really difficult for everyone, especially children, and I think that the Hebrew Academy did an amazing job with getting children into school and having them stay in school throughout the year. This is something that few schools in the Memphis area accomplished. When Tracy Mendelson approached me, I was quite happy to help out with policies and procedures for getting children back in school and to provide advice and counsel throughout the year. Anything that I could do to help children physically learn in the school would be an amazing accomplishment. I think that this year was a great success for your school, and everybody involved should be extremely proud. Once again, thank you so much for this honor.
Good evening, everyone. It's Rabbi Akiva Males, and I hope that you're well. It's both an honor and a privilege to join you this evening as we pay tribute to a couple who has given so much of their time, energy, resources, and skills to the Margolin Hebrew Academy, and that is Noam and Dr. Dina Davidowitz. Earlier this year in the Chumash class that I teach in the Cooper Yeshiva High School for Boys, we emphasized how important it is to do all that we can to make certain that our Jewish day school thrives. And the point where we saw this in the Parsha, we were learning Vayigash, was after Yaakov sends all the sons down to Mitzrayim to rejoin. Yosef has revealed himself as a ruler of the land. He has told them that he will provide for them during the remaining years of the famine. He sends Yehuda first, ahead of everybody else. And the pasuk says the reason why Yehuda was sent first was laharos lefanav. What does that mean, laharos lefanav? Rashi provided us with two explanations. The second explanation based on the Medrash was laharos lefanav meant to set up l'sakein lo beis Talmud. He should set up a house of Jewish education. Shemisham teitzei hara. That from that house of Jewish learning, that's where instruction, that's where teaching will emanate from. And what we clearly see from this is that all the preparations that Yaakov made in terms of setting the family up in Mitzrayim, nothing was more important, nothing was more valuable to him than ensuring that a house of Jewish learning would be established, because he understood the foundation of the Jewish community depends on that house of Jewish learning, on that base HaTalmud, and a place where genuine Torah education can take place. And that's why we're recognizing Noam and Dr. Dina Davidowitz, because out of all of their responsibilities, and they each have many, they have made certain to volunteer significant amounts of their time and energies for the Margolin Hebrew Academy, because like Yaakov Avinu, they also recognize that in order for our Jewish community to survive, and not only survive, but to thrive, it's absolutely essential that our Torah Day School, our Margolin Hebrew Academy, excels in every way possible. Noam and Dina Davidowitz joined the Memphis Jewish community in 2012 when they moved here from Baltimore, Maryland. Noam's a native of Englewood, New Jersey, and Dina grew up most of her life in Miami Beach, Florida. I found an article that was printed in December of 2016 in the Memphis Jewish Scene. And in this article, it was December of 16, in this article, the editor had interviewed several volunteers in the Jewish community and asked them, what makes them thrive? What makes them tick? Where do they get this passion for volunteerism from? And I saw that one of the people that they interviewed, one of the excellent volunteers of our community, was Dr. Dina Davidowitz. And in answering that question, here's what Dina stated, and she clearly speaks for Noam as well. She said, I'm a physician and I work full-time as a pediatric palliative oncologist at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I'm also a mother to 5 amazing children. Although my job is very demanding, I try very hard to balance my time carefully and set my priorities. I believe that giving of my time to my community is very important, and it is something I need to make time for, even when time is short. And volunteering for both the Young Israel as well as the Margolin Hebrew Academy, I believe that I'm not only giving to my community, but that I'm also teaching my children the importance of this mitzvah, which directly benefits them as well. What a beautiful way to express why volunteering for the Margolin Hebrew Academy is so important. And that clearly speaks for Noam as well. He is also incredibly busy with his technology jobs and all that he does. Yet both of them find an incredible amount of time. Dina, for years, volunteering on the MHA board, chairing the raffle, the sweepstakes, and in this past year with COVID, doing everything she could to serve on committees where she could bring her expertise to advise the school what they can do to best prepare to keep a safe atmosphere and to bring back in-person learning in the safest manner possible. Noam, even with all of his responsibilities to his employment in the technology sector, he also finds incredible amount of time to volunteer to the Margolin Hebrew Academy. And especially during this pandemic year and a half, Noam did everything possible to allow the school to transition into virtual learning and to make it safe when we eventually resumed in-person learning. We had brought in so many new technological innovations into the classroom to assist us in the classroom, as well as the children who were not yet able to return to the classroom, some of them for short periods of time and some for longer. Noam made this possible. Without Noam's incredible amount of sharing his skills, knowledge, and all of his skill set of technology with the Margolin Hebrew Academy, I do not think we could have made it through this very trying and challenging period. On behalf of a very appreciative community, I want to say thank you very much to Noam and Dr. Dina Davidowitz. We can't express fully just how appreciative we are and the thanks that we all feel to you. All we can do is say a collective bracha, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should reward you for the amount of time, effort, resources, and all of your knowledge that you've shared with the Margolin Hebrew Academy over the years, and especially during this past year and a half of pandemic. And may HaKadosh Baruch Hu see to it that your 5 beautiful children, Moshe, Ezra, Rafi, Meital, and Eli, they've all seen your dedication to the Margolin Hebrew Academy and to Torah institutions, just how important that is. Your deeds spoke much louder than words. May they all imbibe that lesson, take it to heart. It should leave, and I'm sure it has left an indelible mark on their neshamas, on their souls, and they should take your dedication to Torah chinuch, to Torah education, into their lives, and this should shape the people that they will certainly be. Mazel tov, and thank you so much.
We are so thankful to the community for this great honor, and we are so appreciative for the Margolin Hebrew Academy for all it has done for us, and so appreciative to give back in any way that we can.
We really cannot thank you enough. The ability to be able to give and be a part of this amazing community and this amazing school, the Margolin Hebrew Academy, which is a backbone of the community, is such a privilege. It really is amazing, and we are so lucky to be living in this community, to be part of this school family, and to have raised our children and continue to be raising our children in this environment. And really, it is a community that we often will tell people the fabric of the community is volunteerism, is the ability to make a difference, that every person counts and every person can really give so much to enrich the community, to enrich the school. And we just encourage everyone to please do whatever possible to give of your talents, your efforts, and your time, because the payoff is tremendous. It really makes such a difference when everybody is a part of this effort, when everybody can pitch in and everybody really does make a difference, and is so, so important. And we are so grateful to be recognized in this way, but also are so appreciative of all that we gain from being a part of this amazing school and amazing community.
We're pleased to announce that this year's Margolin Hebrew Academy Feinstein Yeshiva of the South Judaic Studies Teacher of the Year recipient is Rabbi Matis Hollander, and this year's General Studies Teacher of the Year recipient is Mrs. Nina LaRue. Congratulations. Rabbi Hollander moved to Memphis with his wife, Mora Tzippi Hollander, and their children in 2017. Rabbi Hollander came to serve as middle school Rebbe and as dorm supervisor. Each of these jobs is difficult, and the combination is really difficult. Rabbi Hollander has become a superstar. He is beloved by his Talmidim, known for his organization and clarity, and for his jokes. He is also respected by the dorm students who rely on him in their home away from home. Rabbi Hollander conducts Mishmar for the 7th and 8th grade students weekly and also supervises and runs the Sunday morning minyan at the school. One of the features that Rabbi Hollander has incorporated into his practice this year is working with his students outside of the classroom. I love seeing Rabbi Hollander and one or more of his students sitting on a bench or picnic table talking, discussing class, learning, or life in general. Rabbi Hollander takes a keen interest in his students, and they know it. This year's Teacher of the Year for Judaic Studies is Rabbi Matis Hollander.
Those of you who join us weekly at the 845 Dorm Shacharis here at the MHA know that when I have the privilege to deliver the Devar Torah after Shacharis, we set a 2-minute timer and I usually finish in under 1 minute. However, that's a dorm special which will not be applying tonight. This past November, I got a phone call from a very, very close friend of mine with an opportunity to join him in administratively running a yeshiva in the tri-state area. And I grappled with the offer, very enticing offer, working with a very close friend, be able to make a big difference. It took a lot of deep, deep soul searching to be able to conclude to refuse the offer. And one of my friends asked, why did you refuse the offer? Why didn't you take him up on it? The answer is that I wanted to make a difference. With a school at the epicenter of the community, the school being the lifeblood of Memphis, I want to take a part in it. And how do I take a part in that? For that, I would like to thank the administrators, Rabbi Owen, Dr. Wise, and Rabbi Gersten. They've created an avirah, they've created an atmosphere that permeates the entire campus, an atmosphere of growth. Totally, singularly focused on enabling and encouraging the students to grow, to become the greatest that they can be. A personal example, I went to Rabbi Owen about a year ago, discussing the idea that I should spend more time with my students as a mashgiach ruchani, to be able to help them advance in their ruchnius, in their spiritual goals, in their midos, and their character traits, social, emotional, friends, being a sounding board, a mentor, a more full mentor for the Talmud and for the students. Instantly jumping on the idea, excitingly accepting the idea. A few weeks later, when I found an online course targeted to such an idea, with many therapists presenting, most notably Dr. Pelkovitz and Dr. Blumenthal. Again, when I presented to Rabbi Owen, enthusiasm. Great, we can help the students more. That singular focus of helping the students grow. Dr. Wise, whenever I come with any array of issues, whether it's how to handle a situation with a student or how we can make something from great to even greater, always an open door, always a great discussion, always a plan of action for advancement. Rabbi Gersten, 24/7, whenever there's anything to help the dormers grow, Rabbi Gersten's available to discuss, to work it out, and then to put action into place. This focus of giving the students every possible opportunity to grow is pervasive throughout the MHA. So tonight, instead of being thanked, I would like to thank Rabbi Owen, Dr. Wise, and Rabbi Gersten. Thank you for this amazing atmosphere, this atmosphere of growth, this atmosphere where the students have a wonderful opportunity to continue growing and to continue growing and to never stop growing. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Mrs. Nina LaRue began teaching in the Feinstein Yeshiva of the South in 2018. She began making an enormous impact right from the beginning. She teaches mathematics in the girls and boys divisions, and she teaches at the highest level, including advanced placement calculus BC. Mrs. LaRue is a rock star. She is known by her students as a teacher who delivers clear lessons with a lot of support. She regularly stays late to help her students. She is energetic and always has a smile. She is an outstanding colleague. The bottom line is that she is an excellent teacher. We are also thrilled that she introduced us to her husband, Mr. Jeff LaRue, also a math teacher. This year's Teacher of the Year for General Studies is Mrs. Nina LaRue.
Hey everyone, Mrs. LaRue can't be with us tonight because she's actually traveling in Athens, Greece with her husband. We are so pleased to have her on our faculty, and I couldn't be more excited that she's winning this award tonight. All the best, Mrs. LaRue.
Well, thank you again for joining us this evening and for your continued support. I do hope you enjoyed the evening, but don't get too used to it because I so look forward to getting together again in person and during the next school year, to having an in-person banquet. And as we look ahead to the upcoming school year and the opportunity to get back together in person, please, as Dina said, please reach out, get involved. It's very rewarding. Many of these events are coordinated by parent volunteers, and we can always use support, and don't wait to be asked. So have a wonderful summer, and we really look forward to seeing you all in person in the new school year. Good night.